should.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Good morning!
Welcome to Good Morning Wrestling with your host Samuel Lyon on the Sports Jedi Network Heel of the Ring podcast, your morning fix on the world of pro wrestling. WWE Raw, SmackDown, NXT, TNA, AEW, Evolve, MLP with hot takes, reviews, rumors, opinions. Tune in, let's start your day by getting over and feel the force.
Please hit the like button, share and subscribe to our channel. Watch along with live wrestling events on Heel of the Ring playback app. Follow Samuel Lyon at SamuelEkPay7 on the X app.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Wrestling. I'm your host, Samuel Lyon. I'm so elated to be here this morning once again. And like we promised, we're gonna dissect on everything we did put out yesterday as a promise. Obviously, for sure we would definitely go in on what the TKO board of directors, the man, the narcissist, the one that everybody yesterday wanted to literally see physically and be like, what the F is going on? I understand. And I'm gonna try and do justice to the interview that The Rock. If you were asking yourself who is he talking about, The Rock, that's what I'm talking about. What he had to say on the Pat McAfee show yesterday with the boys. And it's one of those sessions where as a fan you look in and like, what am I supposed to make of this? Like, what am I supposed to take this as? And if I've this was the first time as a fan, I literally felt that somebody was doing this to me. Like that was how I like. It's as if he woke up that morning. That was a Tuesday. Was that a Tuesday morning? Yes, that was a Tuesday morning. Yeah, he woke up on Tuesday morning. Okay, that was announced after Raw, something like that. So he was like, I believe he woke up like, tomorrow I'm gonna make sure that I go in and try and make myself look good, because that was how I felt coming out of that interview. I'm like, is he really trying to make himself look good, knowing fully well that there's no way you would spin this? You will always remain the bad guy here in this, as far as WrestleMania 41 is concerned, as far as the story of Cody Rhodes and John Cena is concerned, as far as this administration is concerned, you would always remain the bad guy if you keep doing things like this, and you think you can come out and say things like that, and then we should take you like that. I don't know how you can come up, because there's no way you can come up with it. And the fact that he went on that show and literally threw every other person on the bus, and in his mind he's doing that was like the right thing to do. It's too early to do that. So good morning, welcome to Good Morning Wrestling. This is Samuel Lyon as part of the Heel of the Ring podcast, live here on Sports Jedi Network. If you haven't subscribed, it's very easy. You can just look up. You'll see the red button there. You click on it, you subscribe. You hit the notification button right there on, so you can see us when we are live on here. You like, you subscribe, you spread the word. Good Morning Wrestling is live. It's here and it's happening now. And this is a special shout out to Sakev, to Chris, and to the crew, everybody handling the UFC ones, handling the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, boxing, everything on this channel, this sports channel, trying to bring in the good content for you. And obviously, the Samuel Lion show coming in soon. Still working on that, but everything for everybody, for Sakev, so to Chris, everybody trying to put in the work to make sure that this is the best experience you could get. Thank you so very much. And obviously, like I always do on the show, we as a network on behalf of Sakev, we are trying to do the try and be to open the windows, open the door for beautiful ladies, for incredible ladies, for passionate ladies, for amazing ladies out there that want to get in on the mic, that want to get in on the conversation, that want to hop in on the journey with us. The doors are open. The doors of Sports Jedi Network is open, and Sakev made that very clear for us. So if you're asking yourself, how can I get involved? How can I be a part of this network? How can I be a part of this administration? If you yes, how can I get on this administration? Then yeah, is how you do that. Take a look.
Sports Jedi Network, the Hell of the Ring podcast, is wanting to start and bring on the channel a women's wrestling podcast. We love to keep growing our audience, looking for eager, dedicated, insightful commentary and unique takes on wrestling news. We're impactful voices in the podcast arena. If this sound like you, please reach out to me and we want to create wrestling content together. Email me at bxjedi76@gmail.com or RDM me at bxjedi76.
Welcome back on the show. Welcome back on the show. So once again, welcome to Good Morning Wrestling. I'm your host, Samuel Lion, and I'm elated to be here. I don't take this opportunity for granted. I don't take the opportunity to be here every morning, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, as a thing of something that I just a throwaway thing. This means a lot to me, and I couldn't be here on Monday. I love the fact that I could put in the work and be here yesterday, and obviously, like scheduled, here on Wednesdays. And for every person that has ever contributed to the success of this show, that I've ever watched a live show by me, that I've ever sent in um, great thoughts and perspective and notions on the chats, for everybody that has been part of this, liking, subscribing, sharing the word, spreading the word, and posting about this. These are thank you to you, and also a great thank you to Sakev and Chris, and to all the crew once again for what they do on this network. I can't take this for granted. Thank you so very much. And with that, we ended on the show. So the show is gonna be one where it's gonna be this is a special episode. To me, this is a special live show and a special episode that I'm elated to be here to talk to handle. Um so this past WrestleMania, a lot of things happened. But one of the biggest stories coming out of this is the situation around Becky Lynch, Bailey, and the Women's Tag Team Championship. So a story going around is that Becky turned into Hulk Hogan and kicked Bailey out of the championship WrestleMania match. Everybody has that notion. Everybody's talking about it on social media. Oh, couldn't she have come back on a better time? Well, of all the times for her to come back, we have Wrestle. What's the name there? A lot of content creators, a lot of podcasters, a lot of people in the media in terms of pro wrestling has a lot to say about it, and it's not looking good for Becky as because we know she went home for almost a year, did not come to work. Obviously, she addressed it on the press conference after they won the championship at the WrestleMania Night 2 post press conference, where she came into that conference with her daughter, Rue. Beautiful girl, amazing. I love the way that she was handling. Like I was like, Rue is already a wrestling superstar in my eyes. I'm like, I can't wait to see her 20 years from now competing for the women's championship. She handled that so great. Wanted to tell her stories. That's the best way to go, girl. Stories over all, and that's what she strived to do on the show. But that aside, but the fact that she came back, obviously, is a feel good story because this is Becky. having to compete alongside a countryman in Lyra. These are two Irish women. Already that is beautiful for them. And Lyra has never hide the fact that she is appreciative of someone like Becky breaking down barriers and doors for people like her, from people from Irish, to be able to know that, oh, we can also do this, we can also put in the work, and we can also become stars. So this is actually a big one for her. But no one would sit down here and tell you they were not happy for Lyra, they were not happy for Becky. I mean, this is a mother, this is a wife. Outside wrestling, she's a mother, she's a wife, she's also a human being. And she was out of the game for almost a year. Took that break, amazing, to be there with the family, to raise her daughter the way she feels she needs to be raised. Now she was rumors were like, oh, Becky is supposed to be back. Since January, everybody already factored her in. Oh, she's the perfect opponent for Lyra for the Intercontinental, especially when Lyra won this championship. Everyone said it. Oh, Becky versus Lyra at WrestleMania. You couldn't write a better story. You couldn't tell a better wrestling story. You couldn't tell a better outcome for a fan that turned herself, that was able to get the dream done, to a superstar and an idol of hers. So you have two Irish women clashing for the IC title. You couldn't write a better story. Everybody would be locked in on that. Every month, people kept asking, where is Becky? We launched on Netflix. Oh, Becky was supposed to come back that night. Becky never came back. Oh, Royal Rumble came, and Becky will come back in the Royal Rumble. She did not come back. Okay, Elimination Chamber, she'll come right in time for them trying to figure things out. She never made a return up until WrestleMania. And what were we now seeing? Oh, Becky, oh, this. We saw Becky, we saw videos and pictures of her with Seth Rollins. So it's like, oh, Becky is in the WWE, like she's backstage, obviously, because this past 1 year, nobody has heard anything. If she was there, no videos, no nothing was being released. But I believe a video of her was out night 1 of WrestleMania, the Saturday that Bayley was attacked. A video of Becky was out, being giggly and happy, and we were like, is she happy that Seth Rollins just won his match and is now the guy that is working with him, man? Or is she, what's it like? People were trying to pick things. Or is she happy that Bayley who attacked Bayley? Why all of a sudden Becky is back just right in time when Bayley is attacked? And the next thing we are hearing, the manager is like, oh, they can't demand the championship cannot be defended up until Becky. Because Bayley is out. So if you want to find yourself a partner, find yourself a partner. Everybody, including their mother, knew that as long as Becky was seen Saturday and she's in Las Vegas, and obviously she's a wrestler, so she always comes prepared, and she has not been in this game for a year. What were you thinking? That Lara was going to choose any other person in that locker room except Becky? And now this is the situation that we're now dealing with. Now everybody is now blaming all the whole thing on Becky. Now, not only the fact that so Bayley is now taken out of the spot. Oh, Bayley has now been taken out of the opportunity. Oh, it's Becky. All these things, you can blame it on Becky. Becky has been the one taking the full brunt of it. So now, how much of this has gotten to her? How much of this has gotten to the office? How much of this has gotten to the creative? How much of this has gotten to the man running the M in Triple H? They're like, oh, the last thing you needed was one of your biggest superstars coming back and getting the backlash and getting, all the noise and getting all the negativity. The last one that came back, could not handle it. And we know who I'm talking about. Charlotte Flair could not handle the heat because this woman was left for 14 months, a year plus, came back divorced, came back with a career on the line, came back trying to prove a point that she's still the queen. And we know that everybody took the backlash to why. Oh, now she's back. Oh, she's the winner of Royal Rumble. Oh, she's going to WrestleMania. Nobody can handle greatness. Greatness is always hard for people to handle. And there's no way you tell me and that Lara will choose anybody when you have Becky Lynch, knowing fully well that she's back. Who will you choose? Who will you choose? You choose a superstar. And now it has all gotten all crazy because Bayley people are now dragging this thing back to, Bayley has always been treated badly. The next thing, Sasha Banks, sorry, not Sasha anymore, Mercedes Moné is now tweeting on Twitter, tagging Bayley, call me, text me. What does that mean? And the next thing, Bailey is on interview with Chris Van Vliet, which we are going to get in this morning. Some excerpts from that interview. We'll try to play in here and try to dissect that. And then Bailey is now talking on the interview that she has 1.5 year remaining in her contract. So by this time next year, her contract will be up. And now with all this craziness going on, people are like, oh, so wait, is she leaving the company? And the way she was sounding in that interview, you could feel it. This is a woman that has gotten, like, it's as if she's done, it's as if she's on her way out. So this company has 1.5 years to be able to tell her, we need you, we want you. And we know that she is a Triple H girl. These are the products of the Triple H administration, right from NXT Black and Gold. Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Bailey, Sasha Banks, Methodist Monday, formerly known as Sasha Banks. And now these 4 women have been incredible. These 4 women have been the flag of the women's evolution. We know that. But for some reason, you can even ask anyone. Bailey has always taken the backseat to everybody. It has always been Charlotte Flair. Then you talk about Sasha Banks, and then you talk about Becky before you can come and talk about Bailey. Bailey has always been the least of all. But it has been crazy. It has been like the fact that she's been in this company for 12 years is not easy for a woman to be in this one. And she even talked about it. Oh, age is kind of catching up with her. I'm not saying she obviously, for someone that has been doing this for 12 years, she announced that I'm 35. Obviously, my age will be a factor now. Oh, and I need to now think more than like wrestling. The guys can do it into their 60s. Nobody will bat an eyelash. But for the females, the age factor comes in. Oh, we need to go with the 20-year-olds. We need to go with the 19-year-olds. And then the 30 going to the 40s. Oh, you are too old for this. You need to take a backseat. I believe that's one of the things that Charlotte Flair is dealing with, because the fact that she's now, obviously she's the more advanced, more experienced, and legendary in that side of things. So now having to come to work and dealing with, I'm not trying to throw shades here or try to be insultive or be disrespectful to the women there, but the fact that at the end of the day, she is one of, if not the oldest females in that locker room right now. She's one of those ones that you could go, the living legends, if I may use that term, the living legend there. So it's going to be hard for people like Bailey, people like Sasha, people like Charlotte, people like Becky to be able to manage their greatness. Because now you would, sometimes I used to think about this so much. I'm like, fans criticize these people, these ladies. I'm using the women as the example right now. People like Charlotte, people like Becky, and now maybe Bailey. People criticize these women so much, and sometimes forget. You can bring Naomi into this, because you can see that he's playing in a character right now in on screen. Like, people criticize these women so much and tend to forget that not only are they human beings outside this, they're also women. So somebody is living. It's okay for the men to, travel and not even think about, as if they don't think about their home, but it's way easier because they know for sure that, oh, somebody will be, their wives or their partners will be home taking care of things. But for, as a woman, to also, your husband is packing, you are packing, you are leaving your child at home. For Becky, I believe they say they go with their daughter. It's still very hard. She has to go to school. She has to do, you are a wife, you are a mother, you are this. So having to think about all of them, still come and think that you're also a wrestler, and you still have to deal with the audience, the fans, both online, physical. I almost said the Nigerian in me almost came out. The spiritual part, the spiritual too, because some people, you don't know where you come from. So it's just like a whole lot of things. Sorry, I'm going on a rant here, but it's just that kind of situation where I think of, like, why do we just jump in and start blaming the athletes here? We should blame the administration. If Lyra came in and like, I want Bailey, obviously we know that this will come from the top. Why should they choose Becky, knowing fully well that if they choose Becky, Becky is very close to Bailey. Bailey is the one being taken out. The hit will go straight to Becky, even if you be like, oh, it will be a few good moments. But what about the backlash after that? That is the one thing I'm always saying. Why did nobody say, no, Becky, we love you, but I don't see you. This will be a great spot for you, but the backlash after this will be crazy. That's what they're dealing with right now. And now Becky is not the bad guy. Obviously, we saw decision was made. Obviously, now there are no more tag team champions. Now she's taking it out on Lyra. Like the work shoot in this is totally it's totally crazy. So I just wanted to like get in on that part to get that part out there. So this was these were some few I have few excerpts from the interview with Chris Van Vliet by Bailey. Bailey also said no one invites her for interview. I mean, Sakev, I think you should be on that. You should try and see how you can get across to Bailey. We can render an interview right here on Good Morning Wrestling if she wants. So yeah, this is the parts from and excerpts from that show. Before I do that, Zakiwani sent in his a chat on the show. Zakiwani underscore '09. How was your WrestleMania experience, man? It was crazy, and I'm gonna get right into that. But I just wanted to acknowledge you and say thank you so much for chiming in this morning. And if you are watching me live right now, you can send in your chat. We'll try as much to address that as we go on the show. So this is Bailey on Chris Van Vliet show podcast. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm trying to find myself. I'm trying to still having a hard time finding myself as a babyface right now,
in this iteration of you?
Yeah. I feel like I'm just so much of me as a person, like me, Pam, right? And it doesn't translate well in wrestling. So I'm trying to find how that works. Like in my mind, when I was like, okay, I'm gonna me and Damage Control are breaking up, win the title. I thought I was like, oh, I'm gonna have the most fun. Like now I have the experience of a good guy and a bad guy. I'm gonna be like Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I'm gonna have the most fun ever. And it just wasn't that, and it just wasn't fun. Like it was just kind of like, like I wasn't having fun, and I felt like the reign wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. So that obviously translated, in the ring, and it just nothing was there. So I feel like I'm still trying to find where that is. But like as a heel, it's so fun to like I can just turn up my annoying shit easily, like how I am with my friends or how I am with my family or my mom. Like I'm so annoying to my mom. I can just like turn all that up, and people can relate to that, I think, because
Sure.
they all know somebody like that that's just like too much. Like, dude, shut up. You're too much. And that's really fun. I feel like Liv is in that spot right now where like she's the sweetest ever, but she also has this like side of her of she's super like talkative and social and loud, and now she can like bring all that into a character and turn it up a million and do it
Yeah.
with like Dom, who's like everyone loves to hate right now. So I think it's more fun, and I know everybody says that, but
What's
not everybody could.
Yeah, so that part was that's Bailey trying to give. You can see that even Bailey herself can't even define where she is at the moment in terms of her career with WWE. Her character, like how do I see myself? Where do I see myself? How do I fit myself? Even somebody that has been there with the company for 12 years still can't figure out how she can best present herself, how she can best fight for spot. There are times, this is crazy. I believe a week ago, this the SmackDown, yes, SmackDown was on the SmackDown before the Go Home show, yeah, where they had the Gauntlet match, right? I watched the show with family. My godmother was like she saw Bailey, like she couldn't even realize who that was Bailey. And during the course of the match, like obviously that match was one of the best I've seen Bailey all year, and that says a lot. Aside from the match she had with who did she have? There's the IC title match she had with Lyra, yeah, Lyra for the IC title, right? Was that the match? But I believe there was one match Bailey had this year that really she stood out. Like they're kind of like trying to remind everybody that, oh, it's Bailey, it's me. And so Bailey did a whole lot in the match. She was the one, she fought in that match, obviously with the great. This is when you have two great workers. Lyra was so amazing in that match, but Bailey put in the work. So when that, I believe this is really the real reason, because over the past couple of weeks we've seen Bailey at her best, with the work she was doing with NXT, going over there to help the girls, going over there to create something, and it's as if that was dropped, And then she came back and still tried to put in the work. And like, okay, so we having Bailey and Lara for the IC tattoo. Oh no, they are trying to partner them up. They are going for the tag team championship. They are going to do run a gauntlet. And it was like a whole crazy stuff and all of that. So Bailey had to, she's still trying to figure this out and everything. And it's cool. And it fits right into the narrative that the boss, the man that runs the place there in WWE, Triple H, would say that it's a collaboration with everybody. Because you as a boss, you come in like, what are we doing today? How can I best give you spots that will be better for you? Okay, Bailey, he has a lot of women on his roster. Okay, how am I going to best? How am I supposed to, put Bailey in the best way for Bailey to win and not have it come off as if we are doing our dirty or we are not trying to make something like it's just like a whole lot of things. So me sitting there hearing that, like, because even when remember the run when she got like I'm dropping all of this thing, like the bad guy, the crazy, and she dropped the music, she killed the Bailey bodies, like all of that transition, like we were begging for her to turn to the dark side. That year in 2019, doing that Fox, I believe that was the Fox debut, if I'm not mistaken. She did that, and that was amazing. Like everybody was all in. She heard from her, she was not impressed. She was not happy doing that run. Obviously, we know who was running things at that time. So, like at this point, you're like, how would a bad guy in Triple H administration with Bailey go through? We had a little scheme of that with Damage Control, but the fact of Damage Control, where I believe she did explain. I don't know if I have that SF, but the next one I'm gonna play. But might maybe highlight that. But I just wanted to like put my two bits that because Damage Control was she trying to do something else. Like I want to build a faction. When you build a faction, if the top guy in that doesn't use the faction to better themselves, the faction is the what I've come to understand about factions is that faction is made of names. We should have a name or names that are very, very strong, name that are big, name that holds water. And then the goal is to pick up the future, the ones regarded as the future, but at that time doesn't cut it in the company. So what are they trying to do? You bring them in, you shine them. You have to bring your star power, plug it in, let it rub off so much so that by the time you pull out of this faction, they can stand on their own and they be recognized and they will not fall. That was the goal. So that was what Bailey was trying to do. That was what Bailey was doing, and that's what she did. Right now, Io was not as if Io was not a star. Now that's something that you can look at. Now that's very controversial. Are you saying that Io was not a star before? No, Io was a star, but now she is somebody, one of the most registered name in the company. So she now has like a level playing field in that financial. So it was just a whole lot. You have Dakota Kai that can be a star on her own, that she's a star, but we are looking, how can they get to the superstar and get here? Even Bailey trying to get here. So she now trying to get people that it's just like a whole lot of things. And that's what she tried to do with Damage Control. And kind of like a transition with that, with the knee injury, which she says she's going to share more on that on a later time when she feels comfortable doing that. So it's just like a whole lot of things. And I'm like, man, the sit down with Chris Van Vliet always does a nice job with his sit downs. Like nobody takes that away from him. He does a great job with this. But this one, especially with what we just learned with Bailey this past weekend, like it was just so crazy.
Well, whatever he says, I respect it and I believe him. So like as many people as think that I'm not at this level or whatever, part of me agrees with them because I don't think I'm there yet.
After the Rumble last year, CM Punk even said, like, put some respect on her name.
Yeah.
And he had a really good point.
Yeah.
You won the Royal Rumble and you're not even at the press conference.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of moments like that. I feel like I don't get on the press conference. I don't get on the posters. I don't, get to do the talk shows. I don't know what else to do, and it's not like there's no heat in backstage or anything like that. Hunter and I have a really good relationship. Bruce and I have a really good relationship. All the TR, like I have such a good relationship with them and I've always been professional. Even when I've gone to other shows to support my friends, like we've had those conversations of like the do's and the don'ts. And that was a little too much, or like we've had those conversations. So
So I'm going to pause here to address that. This is Bailey addressing the fact that people will come to her, or people will like push this narrative, oh, she deserves better. And who do we throw the blame at? Straight up Triple H, the administration. Now, this part really opened my eyes in one just angle. The fact that it's as if most times I tend, like, we as fans and the IWC tends to forget that WWE is not a one-man company anymore. Even when they were a public traded company years ago, when they were not sold to TKO, Vince was, who is going to tell Vince not to do what he wants to do? The board of directors, they trust his guidance, trust him on things to do. It's different with Triple H. Triple H understands that he's just like the superstars. He himself is a cog in the wheel. So he needs to. How many people will you fight for? Yes, he loves Bailey. You've heard from her, like, she and Vince, Bruce, the rest, the team, they have a great relationship. But at the end of the day, WWE is no more on their own like that. They are now part of another board higher than them. TKO that owns UFC, that owns other content, like part of like the big how do they call it, conglomerate and all of that. Like it's a big this thing now. So now things like, oh, Bailey just won the Royal Rumble. Can she get to the press conference? We're gonna go have the program. No, don't put Bailey. Put this other person. This one is bigger than you. And you're like, okay, you are trying to like fight for everybody. You can't. You can't, as an executive, you can't fight for everybody, because at the end of the day, you are like, oh, you can kind of like, oh, you have to choose this or that. And it's crazy. This is one of the parts I'm like, I'm not trying to, I'm not seated here to like want to like make excuse for all the administration and everything. I'm just saying that I try to always look at things like, at least they got to give her just due. She got to win the Rumble. She got to do the pointing. They could not fight for that part of getting to the press conference. That she deserves that could not happen. Like, it's crazy, man. Now you're like, oh, what about the other person? What about the other person? Like, there are some things that you just can't, you just have to flow with it. And I believe she did address that still on this conversation. So just wanted to like, chime in on that part. Like sometimes like that's we forget that WWE is not like, oh, it's not like a Triple company. It's still working for somebody. It can just fight for just so many. It's not even, cannot fight for everybody. And it sounds crazy because it's like, is that not his job? He's not supposed to be fighting for people. But at the end of the day, you're like, it is what it is. Let's hear from Bailey again.
I think we're at a real respect level. And Hunter's has like gone on press conference being like, Bailey's this, Bailey's this, Bailey's this. She's everything that, you could possibly want out of a superstar, which I appreciate. But it's like, all right, well, like, what do I need to do to get me there?
Yeah, how do you not take that personally? Like you're being told you're going to win the Royal Rumble, and you win the Royal Rumble, you do the point and everything, and then it's like, well, what now?
Yeah, I know. It's by the time this comes out, there's going to be even.
What does that mean?
It's hard. It's like sometimes I think it's my that's what keeps me here. It's because I don't go freaking kick the door down and be like, I'm not doing that. Why would I do that? I'm fucking Bailey. Like, why would I do that? But I don't do that. I've whatever they give, and I've learned this from Cena. I've learned this from Ray. Whatever they give you is like, make it work.
Yeah.
So that's always like what I've tried to do. And I'll come up with ideas. I'll come up with pitches. And I've learned that like, sometimes if you get told whatever the creative is and you're not happy with it, and then I go and I say, hey, what if we do this instead? And then they say no. I feel worse after that than I felt with the original creative. So I'm just like, okay, how bad do I want to feel today? Like, or should I just accept what they gave me and then make it as best as I can? And then they'll be like, damn, she made that work. Like, let's go this way instead. And that does happen, especially with Hunter. Hunter, like, really, it happened a lot with Damage Control. Like, if you look at, like, EO, how big EO got, or, like, he was basing it off of how the crowd was reacting to us. And how, he would be like, this is what we're thinking. but let's just see how they react with this, you know? And then like the story would kind of change depending on, or it went on way longer than he expected it to. Like, I don't think this was supposed to go to Mania last year.
Yeah.
Excuse me, last year. So yeah, and that's like a fun process, but I think I went a little off the rails. One of
That was the part that got me. That part. In all of the time she's, I believe that in that session is more like an A plus. That part, especially when she said, by the time this goes out, like she obviously she knew about it. Becky, we she knew how she knew it, how that, but she knew about it, and that's the part that got me, and that's the part like sometimes you feel, and you don't know how to go and kick the door down. I'm like, I am, and you're like, you need to be. That's the part that gets me because this is where it becomes so real for me, too real that I would want it to, because nobody seated here watching me right now, or nobody that will listen to this right now, listening to this wherever you are listening to this right now, when this gets out in on audio version, like we all personally have fights that we are fighting, as we have things that we are dealing on personally. And there are times in your life that you just want to kick the door down. I'm like, just trying to plant your flag. I'm like, no, I'm not taking this on them. But this is where you are like, like, how much more can you take? Because sometimes, just like she did explain, sometimes they might go tell you do this, and you know for sure that doing this, like, you don't want it to go this way, and you want to do it your own way, but you still have the fear of like, what if I go with my own way to tell, and they tell me no, or what if I'm even given yes, the fear of like, oh yes will be given to me, and then mine flops, and then they'll be like, we told you that you have to listen to me, and it breaks heart. It's fear, it's crazy, I love that. Cena is known for, like, he well documented, take shit and eat it. Like, he's always known for, whatever they tell him, is the company guy, is the company. He's barely a company girl. You could put that in, but like, I so much so feel like, so much so feel for her listening, hearing, and now people like come up with nice, oh, she's trying to be the victim and all of that. But that's the situation. I hate the fact that facts are now being turned into victimization, and like, oh, you're trying to paint a picture of you being so good and all that. They're trying to throw every other person under the bus. Nothing in that conversation made anything point that nice of like she's putting anybody under the bus. This was her just being herself, trying to explain it the best way she could explain. She never threw anybody under the bus. That's her truth. That's a fact. And it doesn't have to go your way for it to not be the truth. And that's a fact. And as fans, as viewers, as people that love the products, we still we'll still get to throw in the criticism, like, okay, they need to do better, the administration needs to do better, the marketing unit needs to do better, the brand needs to do better, the company itself needs to do better with handling Bailey, the character. And just because she's a gem, she's a super, she's been there, she's humble, she needs to get her just due. I understand that you can't give that to everybody, but if there's anybody that's more deserving and well deserving to also get the flowers and also get the job done and also get get their just due, it's effing Bailey, and that needs to be done, and she needs to be taken care of because she deserves it. And obviously, you could see from she shared a story of when you trade your expectations for appreciation, it flips everything. And I love that part. That was CVV saying that part on them trying to like bring all this thing. Obviously, Bailey, family, health, and travel, being one of the three things that she's grateful for. Hi, Miru. Miru, I believe Miru from India sends a chat in. Hi, Miru. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you. Whatever you have to say on the show, you can tweet it in, and we'll show that. I believe you did say something. So WWE Rhea Ripley Championship wins Backlash versus Io. Okay. I believe what Miru is trying to say that it should be Io versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship at Backlash, and with who winning? Okay, with Rhea winning. You will get me in trouble with this Rhea situation because, sincerely speaking, Rhea right now should be nowhere near the title. Somebody should come in and intercept. I need Rhea in an emotional story with somebody. I don't know who that is, but she needs to stay off the Women's Championship as of this period. She's a bigger star. she should use her stardom, her superstardom, to elevate other talent, to put other stories. Like, give me something like what we had Rebellion, sorry, with Naomi and Jade. Get her off the championship. Let Iyo continue to be the superstar that she is. And try to put other people, have other stories aside from Rhea. We can tie this back to Rhea later. But for now, I believe Rhea should, you know, try to see how she can tell stories outside the championship. Let's see Rhea outside championship. I want that Rhea. I want, because I believe she can. She has that in her, and the administration needs to tap more into that. So that's just my take on what Miru says. Thank you, Miru, for chiming in. Back to Bailey. I just believe that you see someone that understands family, health, and being grateful on her health and trial. I don't know what really happened with the almost a year plus in the injury that she did acknowledge on the podcast with Chris Van Vliet, that it was more than that, and she's not ready to say that, talk on that now. I one day wish to be alive to hear what really happened, and for us, we seen that. Like, I appreciate her and all she's had to go through to be able to be the woman that she is, and it's just so crazy to see how much she has put into fight, and crazy. I mean, from Spotlight Network, from Hill of the Ring podcast, from Good Morning Wrestling. Shout out to Bailey. Shout out to Bailey. We love you, Bailey, over here. Much love over here. So before we get in on the main thing that brought me in here, I will just have to breeze through the last night's NXT, the 22nd April edition of NXT. We'll just have to get in on that. So Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez with Titan Paxley and Gigi Dolan, the title match to kick off the show. Obviously Liv Morgan and Raquel retained, and Ricky Saints. Yeah, I wanted to like talk more on Ricky Saints in terms of like his growth, and I'm like, what's next for him? Obviously, he has a match with the King, Lexis King, next week at NXT, and I'm like, I was just thinking. Obviously, he was attacked backstage during the show from Lexis King. Lexis King lost his championship to Naomi. Happy to see Naomi. Much love over here. But coming back to Saints, I'm like, I don't know. He came in with the noise, he came in with the force and everything, and I'm like, what's next for him? How can he best be featured? Like, I'm still trying to think on like what, because I want to buy in more on him, and I just wish we could get that for Naramda. Great to see him back. Great to see him get back right where he left off. For Channing Stacks, we have something there. We need to see what we have there. Vaca and Perez, incredible job. Julia Grace, love what is going on right there. Joe Hendry, Obafemi. Obafemi was so crazy to have this one. So listening to him cut his promos and try to use the African accents, and I'm like, do I talk like that? Like, do I sound like that? It's always crazy when you see somebody from your side talk, and they're like, I don't know if I sound like that. Like, it's just so crazy, just so weird. And like of that. So it was just crazy having him sit there. I love the way he changes his tone. It makes it feel like you feel it. He makes you feel it. And most times I've understood that wrestling is not here, wrestling is here. And he really makes you feel it. Sometimes when you see, and I like the fact that he gave a shout out to Javon Evans. That was amazing. I love that part of him. And like NXT, they are really holding down their shows, and they had it rough this weekend. And we need to do something about. I love the fact that Vic Joseph gave it to Booker T. Like, oh, it's nice to see you in here and not be sleeping. I'm like, no, I was praying. Back to the meme that we all had. But like, it's just like a whole lot. But like, one of the main things I want to like say is the fact that NXT is really holding it down. And this thing about WrestleMania week, a crazy week. I believe we need this. If Roll of Fame is moved to Thursday, I know they have partnership with TNA, but can they move this to Thursday night? All of them needs to be a standalone event on Thursday night. Even if the partnership will be so big, like, okay, so what WWE is all about making money, right? They could tell TNA, all right, so TNA they should rent out the venue, they should rent out a bigger venue So the stars will have a show. We with partnership with TNA will have a show. Maybe mix in some talent from NIL, some NXT talent. Feature, make it a grandiose event where we'll have a TNA show. Maybe after the TNA show, the red carpet starts off, and then the Hall of Fame starts off in that same building. So you can now have WWE fans try to mix up with the TNA fans. We're like, also, we are going for the Hall of Fame, but we'll go in and get a combo ticket where we can see a TNA show, and then the arena will be just have that kind of, maybe be a standalone event. It can be great to have them having the bigger arena. So you have a combo ticket because they could not sell, they did not want to because of the late night and everything. So now you put a bigger building, people buy combo tickets, go there to watch TNA and also to watch the Hall of Fame. It's nice, it's beautiful. Kind of like have the whole feel for the audience. So I'm just looking at it in that way. I'm like, I think they need to move that. They need to move that and see what they can do about that because it did not really come off so great. And before we get back on the show, I would just have to go for the beautiful ladies and all of that to see how that goes. And I know. So here is the break.
Sports Jedi Network, the Hell of the Ring podcast, is wanting to start and bring on the channel a women's wrestling podcast. We love to keep growing our audience looking for eager, dedicated, insightful commentary and unique takes on wrestling news. We're impactful voices in the podcast arena. If this sound like you, please reach out to me and we want to create wrestling content together. Email me at bxjedi76@gmail.com or RDM me at bxjedi76. Sports Jedi Network, the Hell of the Ring podcast, is wanting to start and bring on the channel a women's wrestling podcast. We love to keep growing our audience looking for eager, dedicated, insightful commentary and unique takes on wrestling news. We're impactful voices in the podcast arena. If this sound like you, please reach out to me and we want to create wrestling content together. Email me at bxjedi76@gmail.com or RDM me at bxjedi76.
So welcome back to the show. This is still Good Morning Wrestling with your host Samuel Lion. As you can see, you see there the Rock, Dwayne Johnson. This was one of the biggest topics, the biggest news that made me decide that I was interested in. And one of our fan, one of our from the chat yesterday really asked for me to go into this and review this. And I'm here to address this fact because this was one of the biggest news as of yesterday because everybody was asking where the F is doing the Rock Johnson, what is it doing, what has it gotten us into, why is it not yet to get this show on the road, why has it not, like, it was just like a whole lot of things going on at the moment. And I'm like, how are we supposed to deal with that? This was The Rock on Pat McAfee show, and I'm going to delve into that. And yes, we're gonna play except so you are going to hear this in real time, and I'm going to react to it because I definitely would have come in here and just given my rant and leave. But that's not what we do here on the morning show, because on the morning show it's a new day, so we have to look at it in a fresh new perspective. Because like when I was watching, I'm like, I was ready to go on a rant. And thank you, I did check out the takes that Chris and Sarkev did on their own. The video is up on our channel. You can go check out almost 30 minutes of them reacting to because they did watch it live, watch and reacted, and then they did the except is out, so you can check that out on our channel, on Sports Jedi Network channel right now. And don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification button to see when next we come on. And also please like, subscribe, share the word, spread the word. So we are gonna go in on that. But before we go, I know I bring this out, bring this on a lot. It's just that I want to spread the word. I want to make sure that everybody that comes in here, because this is the best part of the show for today, and I want to give the best I can give. But I also need to spread the word on that we're looking for amazing ladies. The host, the founder, the man that runs the place, Sir Kev, is open and willing to open with amazing ladies. And if you did not get the ad, here is the ad for you to check. How can you get involved? How can you be a part of this? Here is it.
Sports Jedi Network, the Hell of the Ring podcast, is wanting to start and bring on the channel a women's wrestling podcast. We love to keep growing our audience, looking for eager, dedicated, insightful commentary and unique takes on wrestling news. We're impactful voices in the podcast arena. If this sound like you, please reach out to me, and we want to create wrestling content together. Email me at bxjedi76@gmail.com or DM me at bxjedi76.
Welcome back on the show. Welcome back to the Good Morning Wrestling. This is still your host, Samuel Lyon. Thank you so much for sticking by. So, there's a way we wanted to do this, and now things have changed. So, I'm still going to do the best I can do to best review this. Obviously, this is a network that we are so happy and willing to do the best job that we can do for you. And I always strive to make sure that I do the best I can do here on this show and creatively see how I can move this and do it. By the end of the day, I'm still a part of a team, so I need to do what's best for business, do what's best for the team, for the fostering and the movement of this in the best way possible. So I'm going to try and do this in the best way possible. So The Rock yesterday was on Pat McAfee show live on ESPN, and he said a lot of nothing. A lot of nothing. I came out of that asking myself, what was that? Why was I there? What did he say? Like, it was something that I looked at. I'm like, if you haven't checked that out, you can go check it for yourself. Go to the ESPN page. You could go see the excerpts being cut. If you want to check the full show, is out there. They cut the part out for people to go in and watch. You get to know what I'm talking about. What were the biggest thing that happened on that show? What was the biggest thing he said that pissed me off? The Rock painted himself. Obviously, anyone that will call him, okay, all right. So I'm trying to get word from producer, the man that runs the Sir Kev, and I'm getting to understand reasons why we can't go the routes we need to go to. We need to head to. So I'm gonna try and do this the best possible way I can. Sorry for this abrupt break I'm about to take, but I want to do the best job I can do for you. So please bear with me. I'll be back shortly after this, but still I'll be back shortly.
Acknowledge.
Welcome back to the show. So we would go in on this thing. So first off, where do we I'm trying to make sense of all of this shit that we got from him. So welcome to the show. If you want to chime in, chime in, chime in. So The Rock is first. Where do I start from? Last year, Raw After Mania, he came out with obviously his belt. Cody had the championship and he was there. And he said, you break my heart, then break my heart one more time. Let me take your belt, let me feel it. You take mine, feel it. Kind of like a weird like thing, right? No one said anything. Last year, when he gave Cody a gift that we later realized during Elimination Chamber that it was the Rolex, right? Mm-hmm. And that was the Rolex used to literally bloody Cody. All right. He came out Netflix debut, touting this brand has done this and cock teasing and praising, and Cody was there in the front row and all of that. He literally put a at this point buried the two stories, the Cody and Rock story, the Rock and Roman story. He buried those two, done, and then he brought this back in. He cock teased it. What was the excuse? That he was home and he got a call. You know him, always starting how he has the most wonderful relationship in the world with the man that owns TKO. Oh, Ari Emanuel called me. We have a low ticket sales on Elimination Chamber. The Elimination Chamber did not need your help, but obviously, he will go with the market. I was being called that we had this, we had that, and all of that, and then he was being called into. If he was being called in to come and help with ticket sales because the show wasn't selling well, was there no better way to go around that than him bringing himself into the bigger story, the main event for WrestleMania, by coming in and inserting himself and teasing himself and entering the story, and now leaving us to wait and be like all through this season. Everybody kept asking, where was The Rock? Where was The Rock? Where is The Rock? Where is The Rock? Why is he not here to tell the story? Why is he not excluding him out of the story? Why is there nothing being said? Like everything was just being analyzed, everything was just being done without him being a part of it. And then people come ask questions. Why is he not saying anything about him? Why is not? Now we know the real reason why he wasn't, because his ego was bruised, because he was not being factored in the bigger story about the whole thing. You could see that because I I sit here right now this morning trying to figure out this whole thing. I'm like, him saying the Rock one of the big one, he said that the fact that he came in and he told the final boss is going to not he's going to remove himself from the story. It should be about Rock and Cena. So it should be about Cody and John. How can it be about Cody and John when you are one of the biggest piece in the entire story? And you see, and him saying he doesn't have I'm trying to check my notes here. I was doing his why would you give something that this was the part that he did not get any benefit, that he was the one that came up with the story. Okay, so he wanted Cody to be healed. Obviously, with the man running the place, Triple H will not sit there and allow you to turn one of his biggest baby face, the one that they've only one of the one of this era's best baby face that they have managed to get right in this era that we are. So the one true baby face that we have in this era that the management have been able to get right, I should turn him heel for you to make what, to sell Elimination Chamber tickets and WrestleMania tickets. No. Obviously, he was not going to spoil that for himself. Triple H will stand on that hill. Cody definitely will not bullshit himself and do that for himself, because what he has going on right now is great, right? So did that bruise him? I guess that was the first track that bruised him. He now went back. Oh, the soul story. The soul part was so crazy. The fact that this man came in here and said, like the soul really, literally, like, what did I really get from him from that part? That the soul really did not mean anything. It was more about, oh, let's tease them. Let's get them to believe that Cody was supposed to sell his soul, and I want Cody to sell his soul. I need a brother to talk to. I need this to do that. I need that to do that. And then he did not agree. And one of the biggest landscape moments in last shift moments in the world of wrestling, with Cody saying, "Go F yourself, Rock. I'm not doing anything with you," with Cena turning. Like, how could you do that masterpiece and go home and stay throughout, sit out for the WrestleMania? For him to say, "I was home on the couch with the fans watching the show with alongside you," and texting Pat McAfee, for him to sit down there and say that was what he did, like you were on your couch, and the story was, these guys have been struggling to be able to romance and get this chump, like to get this story to the next level without people. Everybody always asks, if you knew him saying, other commitments I have, and not wanting to overstep, like, so everyone knew that you had other things to do. Everyone know that you are the number one in Hollywood. You're number one in the world. You are involved in so many things. We knew that. So if you yourself know that there's no way you can do this, why couldn't you just say, okay, how can I come for that? Do the same thing you did. Do the same thing you did during the Netflix debut. Come in there and share stories and drink tequila and leave. That would have sold the ticket. Why come in there and bring up a storyline? One of the biggest, because of you not being at WrestleMania, everybody now, WrestleMania would not be looked at as one of the most, the main event has been trashed. What we got at Elimination Chamber should have been done doing WrestleMania at this point. In hindsight, looking at it right now, the heel turn should have been done at Mania, and then Cena turns heel and Cena takes the belt. It would have been more palatable, because we're like, what did Cena just turn heel just to get 17? But no. You had to come in and do it your way. And now when when for sure that you couldn't get your way fully, you got pissed, you got mad. And this is the one. This is just me sitting down. Like, I'm trying to wear my theory at, because Sakev and Chris said something like, Sakev was like, him cock teasing us, and now class and power play, big power struggle is going on. Like, we might not even have an idea. Chris was also like, something might be, like, we feel like something might be brewing. Chris was on like the fact that, something might be brewing that we don't really know. So now Chris was like, if instead of like the celebrities that we have now, because we have all the celebrities coming in, and like, why now? Why is everybody now? That's the part I want to address, because now with all the celebrities are coming in because of Netflix, because of WWE is now the cool thing. Is that is established. We know Triple H wants to collaborate with every person. The one thing I'm seated here thinking is that Triple H knew for sure that there's no way he could handle this. Like, The Rock came in here, left him with a whole pile of shit to deal with, and he was there to navigate. There was nothing he could do. What will he have done? Now, question be like, okay, so if you knew that The Rock was not going to turn out for WrestleMania, this story is fucked. Why didn't you do something? What was he supposed to do? Now let us ask ourselves, what was he supposed to do when he knew that The Rock was not going to come in? And now he's now left with Cena, he's now left with Cody, he's now left with Travis Scott. What was he supposed to do? So I believe that was when they came up with it. Okay, I'm not going to give you guys nothing. And that's why he gave literally nothing, because it's like, it's as if at this point, it looked as if even Triple H gave up on the whole thing. He gave up on him, like, we're just going to do nothing. Just go in there, cut promos, get to the main event, do nothing, and then let's move on to what we're supposed to. Let's move on to the next thing, because right now the man that was supposed to drive this thing, to make this thing the biggest it can be, has left us with nothing. So let us also do nothing, and nothing they did. That's what he did, and he had the gall to come in there and be talking about how the money done, the grandiose. When Travis came out, he was like, because obviously when Travis came out, everybody was like, the final boss is coming, and he did not show. I would have done it better. Wow, you would have done it better. You would have done better by showing up, by being there. Who should have fucked up Cody for Cena to take the win? You. But no, you can't do that. At this point, it feels like it feels like someone that is trying, like, No shades to the man. The man is the best thing that could ever happen to the world of person. He literally gave me his flowers for last year, because he would have done what he did this year to us last year. And by when he could not get his way, he could have easily left and left us to deal with whatever would have happened last year. But he was able to give us the incredible thing we got last year, right? But at the end of the day, what we got from him is it as if he was like, he felt disappointed, he felt fucked. So he was like, I want to it's kind of like a get you back. It feels more like a get you back from him at this point. Look, in hindsight, it feels more like a get you back. I'm going to get you guys back for what you guys did to me. You guys did not give me my main event last year, so I'm not going to give you your main event this year. So if that's what he planned to do, kudos. You achieved it, because right now all of us are pissed. All of us, we feel fucked because we invested 1 year, 12 months waiting for you, waiting patiently for you to come in and give us the best main event you could give. But you decided to stay at home texting Pat McAfee on how great the show. At this point, he should just stay off, because it feels as if now the head is spinning, because obviously the Peacock deal is coming up. The Netflix deal has kicked off. We know The Rock has a production company with $7. We know how him and Gowatz, So how much of this is him and his team trying to sandbag, trying to make this man's administration this, because obviously at the end of the day, he threw everybody under the bus with this sit down. He threw everybody under the bus. And there was one point I was watching that and I saw McAfee. Even McAfee, as great job he does with this podcast and everything. He knew he was sitting there listening to bullshit. But well, he threw everybody under the bus. Triple H more so than anyone. He could not bother. He was not bothered enough to show up for him for his Hall of Fame. Like, you couldn't even show up for him for his Hall of Fame. That tells me a lot. Because if you were on your couch watching, or you had time to watch his match, you could not fly in. You have a private jet, right? You could just fly in and do that for him. You never say anything about him on his Hall of Fame. So it's just like a whole lot of what is going. There's a lot going on here that nobody's telling us. And at this point, I don't even care to know if it is told after this, fine. If it's not, I don't care to know anymore. Like, at this point, you should just stay off. And if he's trying to sandbag, trying to trying to push this man out of this company, because at the end of the day, that if he's trying to come for this man's job so that his production company is him, he will be at the helm of all things. As a business person, will I blame him if that's what he's trying to do? No, because more power, more money. That will bring more money to him. That will bring more money to whatever he's doing. Yes, I understand that one as a businessman, but as a fan, as a human being, that will be one of the most, like, obviously there's nothing morally right in business, but at the end of the day, that will be feel so effed up if that's what he's trying to do. He's done one. Yeah, I'm Triple H. But at the end of the day, The Rock is Triple H's boss. That is the one crazy fact that, like, we need to get in our head. That's his boss. So whatever he says stands. I get that. But at the end of the day, as a fan, I just wish we can move past this. He can just stay off and just be the PR team. He can be the hype man for the company and just come in there and hype the numbers and everything and just keep off storylines if he's not going to be committed. If you're not going to be committed, just stay off. Stay off. That is it. Stay off. Everything now is about branding. Everything now is about promotion. Everything is about you. You are at this point. You are coming off so narcissistic. You are coming off so gullible. You are coming off so just too much. Just leave them alone. Leave them to figure themselves out. You are a TKO board of directors. Make decisions outside. Don't come on the TV shows. Don't come and do things. If you're not going to be committed, leave them alone. And help them in the best way you can, but don't come show up on our TV and give us hope and try to cock tease us and then leave us hanging with that things in your hand, waiting for you to come show up, and you refuse to show up. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me this morning. This was an incredible session. I really appreciate you guys joining me. At this point, I just don't want to say more than I can say, but I'm so elated that you guys get to join me. And from the Hill of the Ring podcast crew, the Sports Jedi Network, and from Good Morning Wrestling, I, Samuel Lyon, the host, tell you Thank you so very much for joining me this morning.